Let me officially welcome one of the biggest influences ever in my life, Mr. Robert Kiyosaki, and his longtime friend and head of Rich Dad at Franchise Development, Kelly Ritchie. Welcome, gentlemen. You know, I watched that clip of you on CNN again last night when you predicted the crash of Lehman and Goldman Sachs, and most people thought you were nuts.
That's correct, and even in 2005, I was on KTLA television, and they were asking me what I thought about the real estate boom, and I said it'll turn into the biggest mortgage disaster the world has ever seen, and that was in 2005. So, you know, like you're talking about, the future is predictable, and if you're not ahead of because the future is changing rapidly, and if you're not ahead of the change, you become a victim of it, as many people are. So I think that's the main reason I'm doing this course, is because for a few people, it is better to know what's going to happen than to wonder what happened.
The fact that you made it a point of saying that, look, you know, rich people make money when the market is up, and rich people make money when the market goes down. It doesn't matter either way. There's opportunities in both, and I just find that ironic with, like, wow, you know, that's incredible, to where I'm not really doing my job, and I haven't educated myself if I'm not making money when the market's going down as it is today.
Well, what you're doing is by leading a networking organization is something that I've been advising people to do for a long, long time now. If you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which came out 12 years ago, you know, I was recommending people join or build a network marketing business. And the reason you're in a great position today is because, you know, I think GM dropped 31% today. So the idea of a job security for life is really somebody chewing on some mushrooms, you know, and it's not reality. So more and more people are coming your way. And the primary reason I recommend it, and the primary reason Kelly is in the franchising business, is because the idea of job security is really a myth. And when guys like Bush, Obama, McCain, they say we're going to bring high-paying jobs back, I mean, you've got to be a complete moron to believe them. I mean, you've got to be dreaming. You know, there's no way. And the reason for that is jobs always migrate with the lowest priced workers. So even today, jobs are migrating, you know, jobs moved from America in the 60s to Japan, then to Korea, then to China, and today they're migrating to Vietnam and Pakistan. So if Obama or McCain or Palin or whatever his name is, Biden, say they're going to bring high-paying jobs back, I mean, dream on. And so all you have to do is look at the future by looking at what's really going on. It's not that hard to predict the future. You just have to stop believing the stuff that these so-called leaders are telling you. But in 1983, I studied with him 3 times in my life. And in 1983, just as he passed away, he published a book called Grunts of Giants. And Grunt stands for Gross Universal Cash Heist. In other words, it's how the rich rip everybody else off. And the moment I read that book, I understood it, because it is exactly what I saw in Vietnam. It's exactly what my rich dad was always telling me. And so today, when you see, you know, Bush Sr. and Bush Jr. saying we're here to save you with a bailout, I mean, you've got to be completely naive to believe them. These guys are part of the conspiracy that rips off everybody else. The same as Clinton, you know. So, you know, if you really believe the politicians are going to save you, oh my God, I'll pray for you tonight. So, I mean, our jobs, you know, and what you're doing, Mike, and what Kelly and I are doing, and what all your staff is doing, is really to not only wake people up, but show them another way. The idea of my parents, you know, who were part of the last Depression, go to school and get a safe, secure job. You can if you move to Vietnam.
The truth is pretty difficult to find these days unless we're talking to someone like you. because all they get is the spoon-fed media, on CNN and CNBC, and I don't really know if America understands what the bailout is going to do, not even in this month, but over the next couple of years. What are the consequences that you see for what's happening right now?
I'll let Kelly talk about that for a little while.
Robert and I have been studying over the last 3 months from various books about what other people are saying, what's going on, and as we study those books, the most amazing things are starting to happen. Is people that have written books 10 years ago or 20 years ago were actually able to forecast almost what's happening today, almost to the word of what's happening today.
Word for word.
Word for word, and it's like when you see this, like to me, I do read a lot of Dr. Buckminster Fuller. I read a lot of his books and never really understood him until the last 3 months, because the sort of thing that he talked about is what's going on right now.
If I could read something to you from our President Bush, he says, this legislation will safeguard and stabilize America's financial system and put in place permanent reforms so these problems will never happen again. Moreover, it says to millions of depositors, you will not be the victim of others' mistakes. We will see, I guarantee, that your deposits are secure. But that was President H.W. Bush in 1989. And then, so this is in 2008, President George W. Bush, George Jr. says, Congress must act. We are facing a choice between action and the real prospect of financial hardship for millions. Now, I thought his father, the first Bush, promised these problems would never happen again. So what Kelly is really saying is the reason we know new business is going to happen is happened throughout history. It has happened for thousands of years. And people are stupid enough to believe they're politicians.
Well, what does that really mean? And studying Fuller, what it really means is the bailout for Bush Sr. was somewhere between 66 and $512 billion. But when we talk about the bailout today, the bailout is somewhere between $770 billion and a couple $1 trillion. So all that really happens is the size of the bailout has got larger, and really the time that it's taken to get to that point is faster. And that's really what Bucky Fuller was about. He was saying, can you think enough to be able to understand what this means to you, this little individual human being? And as we get through that on the course, I have no doubt that people will start to be aware and what we as individuals have a choice to do or not to do. Because me personally, I think this is the best time. This is the time that I've trained for. This is the time that I've really been around Robert for 20 years, because he really said to me 20 years ago that something like this could happen. And it's taken 20 years, but I can tell you it's a pretty interesting position right now, and that was from a person talking 20 years ago.
And today, we have more money coming in than ever before in spite of the crash.
Absolutely, and all the businesses that we look at, that they're bringing in more money despite of the crash.
And that's why, if you're personally, ask yourselves these questions. If you're not rich today, or you're afraid of your financial future today, or the stock market crash today has affected you, you'll probably listen to somebody who gave you bad advice. You'll probably listen to somebody like a financial planner who sold you mutual funds, or somebody told you that job security was important, or they told you to save money. That is really bad advice. And I've been saying this now for so many years. I've also been saying, if you don't know what, if you're already concerned, then start a home-based business so you're not a victim of all this. And you guys have watched my website. There are guys on that website who really get upset with me, as well as with Donald Trump, for recommending network marketing or direct selling or home-based businesses. But today, let me tell you something. If you're not in this business, you're out of business. Cheer up, it's going to get worse. going to get better for those who take action now. I mean, that's the point. Today, are you out of money? Today, are you worried about your job, or you're not making enough money? Today, are you worried about your retirement, or are you worried about health care? And if you are, the reason is probably somebody gave you some bad advice. And until you kind of confess to yourself, you know, I mean, if you're a Catholic, go to confession and say, I've been listening to a moron. And until you can do that, you're not going to change the problem. So, you know, confession helps. The second thing is this, is that it takes commitment. You know, it takes a commitment to your life. For example, if you want to be an Olympic athlete, it takes commitment. You want to be a doctor, it takes commitment. If you want to be rich, it takes commitment. And the reason most people are not successful and 99% are financially successful, the reason 99% are not financially successful is they never made a commitment to their lives. It takes commitment to be healthy. It takes commitment to be wealthy. And it takes commitment to be rich, especially in this environment. And most people haven't got the you-know-what to make that commitment to themselves and to their lives and their families and their friends. You know, they talk about it, but they don't commit to it. And so that's really the thing, is I can't give you that. If you're broke today, it's because somewhere along the line you didn't make a commitment to your own life to be rich. Now that the economy has crashed, it's easy to join the rest of the crowd that goes into hiding and shoves their head up there, you know what, and waits for the dawn to come. Now, as Kelly says, is the best time to get rich. More millionaires are made during depressions. And I think we are entering a depression, but not if you're not committed. It's easier just to be a victim of it. And then you will hear the words of George Bush the First. We will see, I guarantee, that your deposits are secure. What a lie. Every time they bail out your deposits, it means inflation. And that means your deposits become less valuable. So that's really what I have to say. You can predict the future, but if you haven't got commitment to take action or to build your network marketing business, you don't have a prayer. You may as well go to church and pray for the Easter Bunny.
And so at some moment, I have to take the courage and the commitment and then discipline myself over time. And I'm sure that anyone that set up a multi-level marketing business, or anybody that set up a business or a franchise business, it takes more than a day to do it. But each day that you do it well and you progress with that movement of doing well every day, it gets easier every day. But it is a commitment over time. And you can predict there's going to be panic from all the rubbish that they're putting out there. To me, the reason why I would be at this 3-day event is because I want to be around like-minded people that speak in a certain way, that know that there is a way to do this, and be amongst that group of people, not amongst a group of people that are being herded into this, not doing anything, not committing to anything, not understanding anything. That's what's going to be the best thing of all, is being around like-minded people that are sharing knowledge. And at the very moment they're sharing knowledge, they must be reducing your risk. And at the second they do that, they must absolutely be taking you towards a much better future.
It's not only that, Kelly, is that, and I can hear some of the minds out there say, well, it's easy for you, you know, I don't have any money. I've not had money, too. But if once I made the commitment to be something, I would do it, in spite of not having money. Is most people don't have the guts. They don't have the commitment. It's really easy to say, I don't have the money, I don't have the time. But if you know you have to be here, then that's where the commitment starts. And it never stops. I mean, I've been flat broke, but I never said I can't afford something. Like even today, you know, I'm starting another business just because I don't need the money. It's just because I'm committed to learning. So the real thing for most people, especially those of you with no money and, you know, worried about the economy, unless you make a commitment to your higher self, you're not going to make it. I don't care if you don't come to my 3-day, but I do care that you don't make a commitment to the better side of your life. So I don't care if you don't have money, but I do care if you're committed to becoming what you want to become. That's the most important thing, and it does take time.
Yeah, you know, I mean, absolutely. Just over 3 years ago, I was broke waiting tables, right? But you know, I've always kind of had a similar attitude to you, Robert, that I knew who I was inside, regardless if my bank account reflected it at that moment in time. It was irrelevant to me, and you do what you have to do to become what you want to become. And
because 90% of the people are looking at this market crash as something bad. But for you, myself, Kelly, John Cypher, this is just a blip along the way. It is part of the thing that's going to challenge our commitment to be the best that we can be in this life. And unfortunately, with most people, they don't have that commitment to be the best they can be in their lives. They want the easy road. They want to flip real estate. They want somebody to pay them a higher, give them a pay raise.
For me personally, I have always taken one or two things away from every one of these events and applied it, because I'm committed to the idea that I can become bigger than what I am.
Let me give you an example, Mike, of printing money. Like I write a book, I sell 27 million copies of it. I make $3 per book. That's printing money. I took 3 companies public, sold millions of shares of stock. That's printing money. Kelly takes franchises and creates thousands of franchisees. That's printing money. So I can tell you all day long about what I do to print money, but if you think a 3-day program is going to be Jesus Christ saving you, then I don't want you there, because I am not a savior. I am a teacher. And so that's my concern, and my concern today with the market crashing, there's a lot of people right now are hoping Obama or McCain is going to save them. And I'll pray for you for that, because nobody can save you, only you can save yourself, and that's why my whole spiel today is on your commitment to your own life. This 3 days should just only be one opportunity along a long road. And it's really easy to be poor, unhappy, and unhealthy, because it doesn't take any commitment to do that. So that's why I'm on it today, Mike, and I think that's what you're about too, because it takes a personal commitment to be the best that you can be, the same as it takes that to be an Olympic star, or a medical doctor, or a rich person. And most people don't have it. So there's people out there right now who don't have any money and don't have any time. They say, well, you don't understand what it's like to not have any money. You know what it's like. I know what it's like. Kelly knows what it's like. John Cypher knows what it's like. And it's just part of your own commitment to your life that you never be there again. If you don't have any money, better start talking to yourself truthfully and saying, how come I don't have the money? Have I been taking life too easily? People who don't have commitment, and when the going gets tough, they take a break.
To me, the question is, why, for me, I don't want anyone to take care of me. I want to take care of myself, and I want to be in charge of my financial future.
Well, I can tell you the future right now. There's going to be higher inflation, fewer high-paying jobs. The rich will get richer. You have about how many million baby boomers. Most of them will slide from middle class into the poor. And Social Security and Medicare are busted. So it's not rocket science to predict the future, not the near future at least. But if you want to get rich, you better know something more than the average person out there who right now is wondering what happened to their 401k. Or all the people that lost money flipping real estate. No, I didn't tell you to flip real estate. I've been recommending network marketing. Why? Because you can help other people find the commitment to save themselves. That's really what I'm about. I'm not about predicting the future. It's not going to do any good if you don't have that commitment to yourself to be the best that you can be.